do something on your own side. At the end of the week, it's gonna be what you can do on your own, right? Yes. So you have to put into a practice anything that you have seen. Can you do it on the same kind of point? Can you do the voice? Can you do the can you do all the act? Then whether you can or you can't will be you. That's the way that would work. Would that not? Yes. So can you? Yes or no? And that's the point. And it's easy. Please do not use the name to try to go into the direction. Do something from your own side. That's the way anyway. You know that now? Whether you can or you can't. What's the aim for you, the point for you yourself? To free the brain from any kind of war. When the brain goes into a free, then maybe I would not even need to go into the direction of whether that was what we call the potential or whether that was not. So, why? Because then you feel good. Done. Why? Because the human was always going to have the selfish thoughts of what was going to make them feel good at the point of the no, whether the duration was based on what the motivation was, and then we can all just go back and sit down and have ice cream wherever one would not go. Maybe the sovereigns that you provided, provided, would be the one that one would need to take away now, because then that will give you an answer. You would be giving your own secrets, answers where you should not. Sure. I mean, we live in the world of, so it's just a bliss. And it's all about whether then if you have what we call any kind of work, any kind of woe. And that would have to be on the description for oneself then to find out or analyze, observe of whether that was the con. That would be the con. But how would it be a con behind the shadow? Where would you have went? We have not seen anything to be the way out of the situation. I needed to find out. It must be the uncle. The uncle must have done something behind the scene. They must have been going somewhere. Can you tell me the vocations from when the situation was not pleasant, because they knew that you had what we call the potential. You're the best. Your act cannot be beaten. I would want to talk to the individual in that situation, but that was the truth. The individual would have what we call the quality of act from when they were zero, and they would be able to present what we call on the screen and what we call now to the direction of becoming the person popular. Would you? No, still wouldn't, still won't. But anyway, why? Because that was the revenge part in the thoughts. The revenge part was, I become somebody of that quality and you were not. So where did the uncle go? Let's find out what the uncle taught the nephew, or the pa taught your son. No way! How have I become that individual's boy? So I was birthed to one that was maybe, well, that was on the paper 1 month. The young one, so? Well, obviously, in the terms of age, when you do get older, you would rather have the month on the other side, won't you? Yes. And then the point of anything that you have used from what you call the situation that then was done. Maybe the eye will not reach the goal. The eye will not reach the goal. I told you, you will not make sense of anything whatsoever. Everything will all be, there's something there that's going to be a confusion. You're not making any voices, you're not doing any points, you are, we call, not doing anything, which will be, I can understand it, but I cannot understand it whatsoever. So why would it be all mambo jumbo, and why would it all not be to the point or the direction of anything then to be queer rather than queer, rather than clear, rather than something then I would understand. Because at that point it's all, there's no words to make sense, there's no direction to anywhere then. Why would we not understand? I would not. Why would you not understand? Why would you not? Free your brain, free your brain, free your brain. Take it all out, put it to the side, get to the point. What was the point there? I won't know. But anyway, why? Well, they said that sometimes maybe the intake of some kind of other kind of take. Now that's something which you would then have to put down to have some kind of serious thought through it. Insight then becomes take. So even if you pick up what we call a potato from your point, it means that you are taking some. Carbohydrate will then be a drug to the body. Father potatoes. Why? I'm taking drugs by eating them. Ah, yes! Why? Because then if you picture that, whatever you will intake, if that's all drugs, then you can have what we call the elevation of mood without taking any drugs then. So the food will have carbohydrate. That will give me more energy. Yes! I'm going to drink some cola. That will be maybe the thought to then become the other level. Then, you shouldn't have said cola. I know, I couldn't think of one quicker. Anyway, I don't like it. Does that mean you take drugs by having cola then? Whoa. Let's go and buy some more cola. Yes. Why? But then you're against drugs, aren't you? Say no, son. But the individual want what we call a mood by having something to put them in that kind of thought. Yes. So where's that part? So your food can be your drugs. You don't need to take drugs. You just need to eat food. You have what we call the perfect drugs within the potato, within the cola, within the vegetables, within everything that's present there. It's all drugs, that's all you need. It will give you, it will make you feel good. It will take every what we call need for any kind of wherever you have bought, wherever you bought them. So, will that work? I won't know. But anyway, what would you know then? If you have taken what we call the food, when the intake then becomes the take rather than what will be on the plate right there, right now, then what? That means your mommy had made you drugs from the very first day you were zero. The chicken was a drug? Whoa! Why? Because I can see that spoon going around, circling. What's it gonna be? It's gonna put you on an elevation. You took drugs because you had food. Can you put drugs in food? Well, but obviously that would go into whether that was the case. Did anybody put anything inside, any ingredients that you would have bought them? Because there's something there. So you're gonna have to go for a blood test. You're gonna have to go for the other one. You're gonna have to make sure that you prove that nothing was in the food now. So, was there anything in the food? In the potatoes, what was found? Traces of carbohydrates, traces of fiber, traces of fiber is the good word. See, then you're promoting the take up of the potato. You promote it. Did you eat any potatoes then? Did you or not then? We need to predict what the food will be. We need to understand what we call what will be the right on the diet sheet. And then we will become what we call the person who will be, you're not the doctor. You're not the doctor. You're not the doctor. I was the doctor. You were the doctor. No, you're the patient. No, you're the doctor. No, you're the other side. It's a power position. It's a control. It could also be the situation where you might go inside. And then we call what we call, you have what we call the trenching. You're the warren. And then you are in power. So you're going to be either the patient or what we call the person who will be on the other side of the wall. Yeah. You're a crown. You have definitely going against the war symbol. You must have done. You must have. Well, obviously they won't see yourself to be hard if you have one. How would you do it? Oh yes, you can't be queen. It must be, you must have some kind of dirty side to it. Why? Because they said that if you have to go to jail, that will be the situation where you need to be harder then. That's the ultimate, what we call a situation to preside. Forget the contest. It's whether you can move your foot quick enough to say whether you don't, won't be what we call tickled from behind. Do you understand what you ever say? I never do. It means you always did. So, or did you? No, you didn't. So why would you say that you don't? Because the usual joke would be that you wouldn't make sense for your own thoughts. So what would you say with all that? Obviously, I am making sense because I know what's in there. I know what's the botheration. I know what I need to take out of what we call the own situation or thought that would be that thought that was present. So why would you say the other word rather than the other one then? Because you have to go with the flow. You have to say, no, I didn't know anything. You have to say that maybe I wouldn't understand what was going out there, but if you don't need to put yourself down or around that kind of situation, then maybe you will. Why? Because I got the point that I did not want. What was? There wasn't. Yes! And that's victory. That's the win. That's what you call you take yourself to the direction. Why? Because then they won't understand the fact that, if you said that you are what we call not quick enough, then the only way that you can go forward will be you would say, you will try to go quicker. Yeah! And what was the other point? The point where you said that you have not made sense from anything that you have said. Why? Because you haven't made full sense. No, because to get to the level of when you would make sense, because obviously there are individuals that would always be sense, that always make sense. You create it, design it, like one said. What we call it's not just a word that goes on what we call the piece of paper, or what we call the conversations that take place to ensure that that can be the way to make it simpler. So, did you get the point or not? Did you get the point or not? How would you know? It's not what you do, it's how you know. It's not what we call what you do on your own point. It's how would one know? How would you find out? You need to be the dark. You need to find the situation. You need to call Colombo. Colombo knows. Colombo's got what we call the skill. Colombo is the one that you need to follow. Pure fuck. Genius. That's all you can say back. How would, well, if you present the same kind of picture, but you need the jacket, and then one will turn around and straight away go for the wear. You're not thinking, going into another direction then. So, what's the point that you then have to make from what you say? Because you have not what we call put to the side what was serious and what was not then. And how do you put that serious to the side? How do you clear the thought? Because once you clear the thought, once you clear everything up, once you clear everything up, you will have what we call the hair will then grow. You will then become who you were. Everything will go back to where it was. Why? Because it's the one to then put what we call the dot to make sure that won't then. Why? Because the man would now have to sit down and consider the role of Snow, White, but not Seven, the side. You know why? Because that was the situation. Why? We have to look in the mirror and say that it was that reason. What was that reason? Mirror, mirror on the wall, are you or are you not the fairest? Or was the fairest? Or was not the fairest? Or was the fairest? When now the duration will be put down. I'll be back later.